Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody, and thank you all for joining us today, this morning. My name is Jaejin Park, a project specialist with the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. And again, thank you all for joining us for this webinar entitled Eating Healthy and Finding Your Zen. We talk about tips for healthy living and reducing stress. So just as some housekeeping, we are recording this webinar. And once the recording is finalized, we will let everybody know how to access it on our website once the recording is finalized. If you have questions, you can use the chat, and Christine and I will look for the questions, and we'll address those toward the end of the webinar. So to begin with, just do a little introduction of who we are as the Self-Advocacy Alliance. So the Alliance is a network of advocates and self-advocates groups around Illinois. And on this page is a picture of a lovely gathering of self-advocates from an event that we had last year when we were all able to gather in person. It's about 15 people, some sitting, some standing, and looking at the camera and smiling. So the Alliance's mission, our vision is for self-advocates to work together to get the support we need and to live the life we want in the community. And our mission at the Alliance is to speak up for ourselves and each other while working together to make changes in our communities and in Illinois. Our focus at the Alliance is on empowering people to speak up and speak out about what they want and need, so also what they don't want and don't need. We action plan, help action plan self-advocates with their goals. We participate in advocacy at the personal, agency, and community and statewide levels. So we also help self-advocates build advocacy skills on their personal level, the community level, and when they're receiving services from an agency. So, in terms of what we do at the Alliance, we support local groups. So we have member groups across Illinois. We'll show that in a little bit. We also work together on important issues, and we offer networking, advocacy, and learning opportunities through monthly newsletters, through webinars like this one. The Alliance Ambassadors Leadership Program is a program to build leadership skills for self-advocates. And we also have a training institute where we provide additional technical assistance and other types of training. And on this page is a picture of a gentleman wearing a blue shirt and dark slacks, facing an audience, looking and holding some paper. As I mentioned, the Alliance supports member groups. So we have member groups all over the state of Illinois. Right now, we have a total of 38 member groups. And these member groups are made up of self-advocates who came together on their own and decided we wanted to come together and form a group and work on stuff. And what's amazing, and we as the Alliance just support their efforts, whether they want to work on local advocacy, statewide advocacy, or building up and having social leisure activities. And any and all of those things are things that the Alliance is happy to help support advocates work on. As I said, we have 38 member groups. And just to give you a rundown, we have member groups in McHenry, Zion, Rock Island, Pontiac, Galesburg, Tremont, Bloomington, Beardstown, Decatur, Monticello, Charleston, Jacksonville, Alton, Mattoon, Paris, Edwardsville, Waterloo. Um, Also, there's Zion, Alsip, Aurora, Brookfield, Chicago, Chicago Heights, Elgin, Evanston, Evergreen Park, Hanover Park, Homewood, Mount Prospect, Rolling Meadows, and Westmont. So, as we like to say, and as I learned from our lovely director, Christine, who likes to say, wherever you are in Illinois, there is a self-advocacy group not too far from you. And we're always looking to add to our membership group list. So if you all are interested, you can send us an email or contact us, and we can talk to you in more detail about how to become a member. So that's a little bit about the Alliance. I want to move on to the meat of our session today and introduce our speakers. As I said, my name is Jajan Pak. I am the project specialist with the Alliance. I also identify as having a couple of disabilities. And it's my pleasure to be here with you today. And I use he and him pronouns. Curtis, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Curtis Harris. I'm the ambassador for the Self-Advocacy Alliance. And I'm also an advocate, activist, and volunteer for various organizations like Access Living, Threshold, Chicagoland Autism Connection, and many more.
Fantastic. And our third presenter, unfortunately, is unable to be with us yet, but I wanted to recognize Patty Dietz, who's also an ambassador with the Alliance, also helped put this together. I'm going to switch screens and focus on showing you our first fact sheet. So today's webinar is all about healthy living, the idea of giving out tips and information on ways of reducing stress and keeping an eye on being well through nutrition and exercise. So the first fact sheet that I want to go through, and these fact sheets were organized and put together by some lovely students, college students at the University of Illinois at Chicago as part of their disability studies class from last year. And the two students met with us, and Curtis and Patty, and did some research and came across some practical tips that we could all use and keep in mind to help us eat better, move toward being more healthy and more fit, and reducing stress. And we thought that this was really also very helpful and useful, even in the time of COVID and all the restrictions of social distancing. These tips are also useful, can be done while social distancing and being safe. So the first one is all around nutrition and healthy eating. So first tip, as a reminder, is the importance, the benefits of drinking water and staying hydrated. We've all heard the importance and the reminders of drinking water, but and myself, I sometimes forget that it's important to keep hydrated and drink water throughout the day. One tip is if folks are concerned about buying bottled water, you can always water from the tap is generally pretty fine, but if people are also a little bit cautious, one tip that we found is you could always boil water to clean it, and then just let it cool and put it into a filter and keep it in the fridge. Or fridge. Oops. Excuse me. In terms of healthy eating, something that's important is, even in times of because of COVID and being stuck, sometimes we have a tendency to be drawn to junk food or comfort food like cookies and snacks, and those are fine in moderation, but it's also important to think about getting healthy snacks, like going out and you can buy vegetables and fruits and nuts. And as so shown on the screen, a simple recipe that you could that we could do if we like to cook is get some fresh vegetables, put some fresh vegetables in a soup. You can get pre-made canned soup, whether that's chicken stock or mushroom soup or other types of soup that you like, and just add some fresh vegetables to it. And you can make a small pot or a large pot. And Curtis, I know you like, healthy eating is something that's important to you. Do you have any tips on what self-advocates can think about to eat healthy?
Yes, there's not just fruits and vegetables, but there's
Mm-hmm.
hummus you can try on
Mm-hmm.
carrots, celeries, and then there's peanut butter, where you can put apple, crackers, or carrots. I tend to
And
eat too much. I was eating a lot of peanut butter crackers, but I haven't had that in a while.
ah, oh yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Mentioned peanut butter, Curtis, because I didn't realize that peanut butter could be considered like a healthy snack. But it is. It has a lot of nutrients in it. But yeah, and as you said, peanut butter can go with a lot of things. I remember eating it with bananas or with crackers. Um, you know, the old tried and true peanut butter and jelly sandwich on occasion can be a good snack. And then yeah, along with vegetables like celery and carrots. So it's a matter of kind of keeping in mind of trying different things. Yes, we may be stuck inside and we have to be careful. When we do plan to go grocery shopping and we get some fruits and vegetables, you like peanut butter, you can do a little experimentation and see what works and what you like. And apologies if you hear that banging. That's coming from my neighbor who's apparently doing something disruptive. So I do apologize if you hear that. One of the nuances of working from home in these times. Alrighty. So the other um, reminder that's really helpful for staying that's helpful for staying healthy and fit, in addition to keep thinking about nutrition, is exercise. So, you know, and when we hear about, I know sometimes when I hear the term people talk about exercise, I think about, going to the gym or lifting weights or using complicated exercise equipment. And yes, those are possibilities, but sometimes it's important to remember exercise is all kinds of different types of movement. So we can work out at home. So some benefits of working out are, it does help with controlling your weight. It can reduce risk of heart disease, and it manages blood sugar. And it can also, after exercising, can feel good. It can also exercise and can improve mental health and your mood, and it strengthens bones. you, for example, so when you sit for long periods of time, you can become easily kind of lazy or lethargic. Exercise can help you improve your sleep patterns and can be used to help to motivate to get around and do some movement or as much movement as you're able to do. Okay, and exercise can be all kinds of different types of movement. So, so folks who have, some of us with disabilities, if our disability affects how we move our bodies, there's still other areas, other parts of how we can move our different parts of our body, and whatever way that you can move and stretch is a form of exercise and activity, which can be helpful. The thing about exercise is that you can exercise, where you are at home, privately in your room, in your apartment, and different type of exercises can be done sitting up or standing or in different positions. So again, however your body is able to position yourself, chances are you can find some way of doing some form of movement or some form of exercise. Okay. And Curtis, what type of exercise do you try to do? I know, again, you've shared in the past different types of exercises that you try to do. So what exercises do you find enjoyable or helpful for you?
Now I have a bike, set of barbells, and I have an weight and weight bench.
Oh, great! So you've had some opportunity to actually get some weights and lift some weights, and those are things. Those are types of activities that you all do indoors. Um, do you also do stuff outside, even though we have to social distance? Do you still find ways of exercising outdoors of any kind?
I walked my father for 4 months
Great, yeah.
until it got cold, and then COVID cases got worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The word is good now to walk, but the problem is it's a virus out there.
Yes, and it is important because of COVID that we take precautions and wear our masks when we're outside. But as as you mentioned, Curtis, if as long as we're cautious and thoughtful, you can and you can go outside and take short walks or moderate length walks, whatever you're comfortable with, to get some exercise and movement outdoors as well. And yeah, when we're outside, as you mentioned, it's important to be aware that and to be cautious and stay socially distant, wear our masks outside because of COVID. But if you're able to go outside, taking a short walk here and there is another form of exercise. Great. So moving on, we can also talk about diet, which is in line with nutrition. And yes, it's important to look for healthier snacks like that's like granola bars or fruits and veggies, as I had mentioned. If it's helpful, you could make a diet plan. Sometimes thinking about it is one thing, and sometimes it's helpful, and sometimes I find it helpful when I write things down or make a plan or a chart of something. So you can make a diet plan, and in your diet plan, you can write down and think about portion sizes, so it helps you remember what are good portion sizes, so it's not too large or too small. On the fact sheet, recommended ideas like about a half plate of vegetables, and a quarter plate of protein, and a quarter plate of carbohydrates. Then you also, in thinking about your diet plan, the importance of eating in moderation. And sometimes, when we think about diet plans or eating healthy, people think, well, that means I have to give up sweets or desserts or soda or junk food. And the reality is no, you don't have to give them up. It's a matter of moderation. So as the last statement it says, is that you can still enjoy your desserts. You just control, instead of maybe every day you're having a dessert at every lunch and dinner, cut back to maybe a few times a week, or cutting back a little bit to gradually cut down on maybe the dessert or the junk food, so that again it comes over time. You can work into a more even, moderated kind of levels. And again, with this, these are just some simple tips that we can all think about. And if it helps, again, you can write it down. I just say, do you use a diet plan, or do you write down a plan like this to
No.
help you remember? Is that something that you might think of doing? You think it
Yes.
would be useful? Yeah. And for me myself, I've tried different ways of writing notes for myself too, and I find it can be helpful. So yeah, it's some, it doesn't have to be an elaborate, super detailed plan. It could be simple notes that you can post up on your fridge, or you can write yourself as or reminders. Um, whatever kind of simple reminder works for you to give you that little extra encouragement to plan your meals, or even it could also be a simple plan or a note or reminder to take a walk once a week, or it's time to do your exercise. Some kind of, again, whatever kind of plan works for you. Okay, so that's um, an overview of the fact sheet and the info sheet on nutrition. And I want to move on to now talking about on how to reduce stress. And on this fact sheet, on the top is a graphic in big letters, and in kind of orange letters is the word stress, and underneath that is uh, a picture of three different people kind of holding up the word stress, and their expressions are, they're tired and they're having a hard time lifting and carrying the weight, to kind of illustrate they're under stress. And stress is something that we all have to kind of keep in mind, and we all cope with. And stress, is caused by a lot of different things. Um, the big stress that our entire country and the world is living under right now is the concerns around COVID and the pandemic. There's also stress can be related to work, adjustments and changes at work, things or changes at home, um, things that changes in our community, things that changes with our finances, income, all kinds of things. And it's just important to understand that stuff happens, and depending on what it is, we have different. And what this fact sheet is about is to give you some practical tips and ideas on how to manage and reduce our stress. So some resources that we found include some online resources. So there is on this section of the fact sheet, one idea is using yoga. So if you're interested in yoga, that kind of movement activity, and it's kind of movement and meditation, there's some information and a YouTube video link that talks about yoga and some of the benefits of that. And just as, and I think I forgot to mention it earlier, but the fact sheets that we're going over afterwards will make available to all the attendees and to anyone who wants to download them through the Alliance's website and through our newsletter as well. We'll get links on how to download these for yourself. So some other things that can help with reducing stress is listening to music. So I know that, you know, there's songs and types of music that just make me feel good. And when I find myself getting stressed or anxious about stuff, I try to find a few minutes or some time to just listen to feel good music. You know, if there's songs that you like, music artists, bands, just make you smile on your face and make you feel good. Keep those songs on mind. You know, make a playlist or maybe find a way of accessing it in an easy way so that when you are feeling stressed, you just turn on and listen to some music to make you feel better. And for those few minutes, it'll help you relax and release and forget about your stress for a few minutes. Okay. In addition to that, there's also you can do things like deep relaxing and healing music. Something that I found recently is I just did like a YouTube search for music on like meditation or relaxing music videos, and I found a bunch of YouTube videos that just have really nice, calming, relaxing, either piano music, guitar music, or some form of just calming music that sometimes that has helped me my feeling stress, and it's not played in the background. Again, whatever kind of music you like that makes you feel good. If it helps you can always do a quick search on YouTube or, you know, whatever kind of music player that you listen to. And then we also found a couple of websites that have some different lists of activities that can help. They include things like listening to music. There's other things that you like to do, like reading books or reading comics, playing games. And again, even in some, you know, even now because of COVID and not being able to get together with friends in person, doesn't mean you can't play games. There are ways that you can play games via video chat that you can explore. There's also different types of online games, whether if you have a smartphone, you can play, you might find games on that you can do with your friends on your phone, on the computer, or if gaming is not your thing, you can, you know, the other simple tips are just to call and text or chat with your friends and your family just to check in. People that you like and that you enjoy spending time with, checking in and calling with them, again, can be helpful ways of having a good time, feeling better, and reducing your stress and not taking your mind off of whatever is stressing you out. Okay. Other tips that we found are ideas of just being creative. So draw. And drawing doesn't mean that you have to be an artist. You can draw for yourself. You can, if it helps sometimes when I'm on a call or in a meeting or just feeling anxious, sometimes I just take a piece of paper and a pencil and just start to, and they're silly doodles. They're not, they're not pretty pictures or anything, but they're simple little doodles and art things that make me feel good. So if you like to draw, if you like to play with Play-Doh, if you like to paint, if your creative streak is more in terms of writing and using words, or if you have musical instruments or simple instruments, that any kind of instruments that you play or practice with that helps you get creative, tap into that and make time to do those types of activities to help reduce stress. Curtis, do you what type of things do you like to do to help reduce stress for you? Is there anything that we've talked about so far, or anything else that or anything that we haven't mentioned that you do to relax?
I lay down, read a book, a newspaper, browse the internet. Too much of it in that fact. Because you're already
Well,
watching the news and stuff, and being on Facebook or Twitter can make you more stressed when you're addicted to it.
yeah, well, that's true. There, certain topics on Facebook and certain news things might be stress anxiety, but when you go to Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube, what kinds of things what kinds of content do you find on Facebook or YouTube that helps you calm down or just makes you feel good? Are
Meditation
there
and relaxing, deep breathing
great,
exercises.
great. Those that and yeah, thank you for that. Those are great ideas. So like meditation, breathing, and breathing exercises. When I first heard about people, the idea of breathing exercises, I thought that was kind of silly. And then I tried it, and it really does work, or it can work if you're open to it. And it's simple. Breathing exercises are something that you can do wherever you are, whether you're sitting or standing, whether in a quiet place or a loud place, wherever you are, you can take a couple of seconds and just focus on your breathing. And just the idea of just focusing on breathing in and out for a few times really can, as you're focusing on your breathing, try to just tune out everything else just for those few seconds. And those few seconds, it can help reduce your stress and help you calm down if you're getting upset. And as you reduce stress, as you calm down, maybe in a better place to think about whatever is stressing you out and maybe coming up with a different solution or different way of handling it. Okay. So yeah. And then meditation, as Curtis mentioned, is another more kind of thoughtful way of getting some um, deeper relaxation. And there are a lot of resources. There's some YouTube videos and online resources and some simple tips and guides on different types of meditation that you can explore. And it can be for just a couple minutes or longer. So it's much flexible in terms of what your time commitment might be, in terms of how much time you want to devote to it. Okay. Um, so some other fun things that we can all do is even while staying at home is karaoke. You can sing, and you can sing for yourself. You can sing to songs, to some of your favorite songs. Whether you have a karaoke machine or not, you can just sing along with the radio or sing along to your music player. And again, just sing for yourself and whatever makes you feel good. As Curtis mentioned earlier, reading fun books. Read books that just for fun. not for work, not for study, but find books, find time to read books just for the sheer fun of the story. Whether that's, um, like a written book like Harry Potter or comic books, whatever the book may be, just read it for fun. It can help reduce stress. Simple things like chewing gum or eating candy. Um, again, as long as the gum and the candy and the sweets are in moderation, it can be, it's a sense of fun and enjoyment. Sometimes doing housework can be relaxing. Yeah, it sounds odd, but there are times, even though, like cleaning, house cleaning, cleaning off your desk, cleaning, making your bed. Yes, those are kind of chores, but sometimes, cleaning off your desk and making it nice and neat and organizing it in a way that works for you, you have that sense of, of accomplishment. I did something. I was productive. I made my workspace better. Made my bed so it's nice and neat the way that I like it. I cleaned up my room and organized things the way that I like it. And that sense of I did something positive for me. And cleaning can be part of that. I mentioned earlier, drawing, being artistic. For those of us that are into cooking and baking, that could be relaxing and reducing stress too. And again, you can incorporate what we talked about earlier. When you cook and bake, you can maybe, cook more healthy meals with using vegetables and fruits and thinking about making your diet plans we talked about earlier and incorporate all of that together. Some things is in terms of staying hydrated, it's important, as we mentioned earlier, drinking water, but maybe drinking tea, drinking like more wellness types of teas like chamomile or green teas, less caffeinated teas. If you maybe want to cut down on your caffeine or soda intake, maybe look at fruit juices or things like that are more healthier types of beverages, and kind of cutting down on sodas and sugary stuff and more healthier your drinks. And drinking more water and healthier fruit juices and things like that, as again, it will help reduce stress. And something that also that we found is that if you like that, if things essential oils or candles or diffusers, those types of fragrances you find pleasing and helpful, you can explore those as well in whatever way that is safe and beneficial for you. Okay. And then, as we mentioned earlier, and as Curtis talked about, exercise and working out is a way of reducing stress. Because if you move your body in whatever way you can move your body to exercise, that activity can help energize different chemicals in your body to make you feel better and feel more energized and more active. So finding ways of exercising, like Curtis mentioned earlier, going for walks, if you have access to, weights or a treadmill or exercise bike, or if you have a jump rope, or you can walk in place. If you don't have any equipment whatsoever, you can still walk in place. You do push-ups, you can do jumping jacks, you can do sit-ups, you can do different or adapt those types of exercises to whatever works for your body. And that can also be a fun activity. And a creative activity is think about exercise movement and come up with your own movements that work for you, and work for your body and your range of motion. So, and create your own types of exercise. Okay. As well as stretching. Um, Typically, when we hear about stretching, people stand up or sit and stretch. And again, those are good, uh, maybe models or examples, but you can take examples of that and adapt them to however your body moves. So, uh, in this fact sheet, we also have some images. So this one is a big image with a dark background, and in big letters it says, "Did you know daily stretching, um, according to the UC Davis reported, stretching increases blood flow to the muscles, um, it increases oxygen levels, and helps improve flexibility, improving range of motion, your joints, and it also releases tension in both the body and the mind." And there's a picture of kind of like a infrared thermal imaging of a person, of people in different positions of stretching. So again, the idea of stretching, you can stretch your arms, your legs, and your body in ways that is comfortable for you, and nothing extreme. You can do, little bits as whatever is comfortable for you. And that those little bits of stretching can be helpful. As it says, it can help with blood flow and oxygen levels in all the different ways. And all of that can add up to reducing your stress. And let's see, this next image is an image that says, which is a like light gray background, and dark letters reads, "Did you know that doing this pose for a few minutes a day increases relaxation, um, relieves stress, and lift mood, stretches the spine, shoulders, lower back, and hamstrings. It stimulates organs, including intestines, kidneys, liver, uh, the ovaries, and uh, uterus, helps relieve symptoms, uh, and can help relieve symptoms of menstrual discomfort. So, and there's a picture of, again, it's kind of a person in a sitting position with their legs out in front of them and their arms out in front and slightly bending a little bit. So it kind of looks like, from the side, it kind of looks like a big C. Um, so, and it's an example of, if you're able to sit in this position for a little bit and stretch out in this way, it's saying that um, possibly some of the benefits is that it can, the type of position and stretching will help stress your muscles and relax your muscles, help with your spine and posture, and can possibly help with your internal organs, with their functions. So it's not, it's not guaranteed, but that's what apparently some research has found as the possible benefits. Okay, I'll get and just kind of sharing these ideas just to let people know that the ideas of stretching exercise, yes, it'll help reduce stress, but also potentially can benefit our bodies too. And the next image that's on here is another one that has a kind of a pale pink background, and in letters reads, "Did you know that putting your legs up on the wall for a few minutes a day And it says that this is a powerful and restorative pose that helps with sending blood flow to your core. It eases stress, it helps you sleep, and it can calm your nerves. It relieves swollen ankles, relieves varicose veins, relieves headaches, and improve digestion. So, and again, what's pictured is a couple of images of um, different people who are laying on the floor and up against the wall, and they have their legs up against the wall um, as a pose. So, and the idea of, as was said, is that you can spend a few. If you want to try this, you can spend a little time, a few minutes, trying this at home to see if it makes doing that uh, helps you feel stressed or makes you feel better. If it doesn't, that's okay. You don't have to do it. These are just ideas, uh, for us all to consider and try. Whatever works for you, you keep, and what doesn't work for you, you don't have to. You don't have to do them anymore. And at the end, we have some references and links. So that's just just an overview of some of the tips and ideas that we found um, that wanted to share some practical tips on things that we can all do to reduce stress on a daily basis um, in this time of being indoors, as well as um, staying healthy. Thinking about ways of staying healthy and eating healthier in this time as well. And I know that being December and moving into holiday time, whether we're able to spend time with family and friends or spending holidays by ourselves because of COVID, one of the big things is always good food. And just because it's holiday time doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice, really good food and tasty food. As you're planning your holiday celebration and meals, just kind of find ways of including healthy foods and snacks and healthy portions, or also thinking about ways of um, exercise and activity to help um, balance all the really rich food that we eat as well. Okay. And that's the rundown of the fact sheets for now. Any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And as we do that, I'm going to um, show on the screen this last slide, which is contact information for the Alliance. So if you have any questions or want to learn more about the Alliance, you can contact us at our email at info@selfadvocacyalliance.org. You can learn more about us at our website at selfadvocacyalliance.org. And to those of you that are on Facebook, you can find us on Facebook by searching for Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. And feel free to send us a message or tag us or hashtag us if you'd like. So with that, any questions, Christine?
This is Christine Beck, and if you have any questions, comments, or contributions to what Curtis and Jay-Jin have shared, please feel free to write those into the chat box and we will read them out loud. I am really excited to try the stretch where you lay flat on your back and you put your feet up on the wall. I know growing up, my mom said, keep your feet off the wall. So I'm going to have to show her that image. And maybe she'll do that with us. Okay, we do have one comment so far. It says, great job, Jay-Jin and Curtis. And I echo that. Please,
Oh, thank you.
again, if you have any questions, comments, or contributions, go ahead and type them into the chat box and we will share. Again, we will share this PowerPoint presentation as well as the recording of this webinar and the different fact sheets. We will make those available to you. We will email those to all registrants and participants as well as make them available on our website.
Curtis, do you have any final thoughts or concluding ideas or suggestions?
Yes, I would have to say to just try to stay healthy, eat, watch what you eat, and just try to stay healthy during this coronavirus pandemic, because most Americans have gained weight.
Yeah, wise words, and it's a good reminder. Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, it's a good reminder that, and Lord knows I've gained weight and I've found myself eating more. So this information is going to be helpful for me personally. And the reminders and the suggestions that Curtis shared about being more active, exercising, are things that I'm going to be trying to incorporate into my life too, because I want to stay healthy too. So yeah, let's all think about how we can keep in mind about staying healthy and stay people.
And this is Christine again. We did not receive any more questions, comments, or contributions, so I'll have you close us out.
All right. Again, thank you all for being with us this morning, and hopefully this will be good information. As Christine mentioned, we'll make sure that we'll send all this out to you and make it available when it's ready. And again, thank you all for being here on behalf of Curtis Harris, Patty Dietz, Christina of the Alliance, and myself. Thank you all and have a good day.